What's up? Welcome. Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It's good to see you. Good to be here. Hang with us while we get this going. We're going to go through a few different things tonight. So I hope you enjoy the show, not become infuriated by the information, because it can be infuriating. All right, let's do it. Oh, there we go. So good to see you guys. Welcome. Wednesday. Sometimes they call it hump day. I guess it's once you kind of get over the I keep seeing people say no audio. Well, there is audio now. There was an audio just a minute ago because I wasn't talking. So let me just say that really quick. I completely understand if you're put off by no sound, but there's sound. So let's just do this, huh? Let's just get into it. It is January 31st of 2024. Can you believe that we already made it through the first month of 2024? I sound like an old man, but it's the truth. I cannot believe how fast January went. Now, I'm not a big January guy. February's a little iffy for me. I'm more of a spring training, March baseball-ish kind of dude, if you know what I'm saying. And it says stream starting soon, but the stream has absolutely started, so that's great. It's always fun to know. Let's see here. January went by slow. I don't know about that. Wait till in your 60s. Great. Can't wait. Josh, you sound like a man with power. I have zero power of anything. Let me just say here, Janeer gifting a lab membership. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much for doing that. Single mom. Good to see a member for 10 months. I know I'm sure it's longer than that, but I appreciate it as well. And gifting a lab membership. Very, very kind of you. J Lo, my second home is here. Hi, Josh, mods, and chat. Thank you very much. And at a van, I like that. Hi, Josh. Happy to catch a live. I love your channels. Thank you so much. And I believe that we are scheduled on After Dark as well tonight. We won't be really discussing cases, but we will. You would just have to hear it, We're just going to talk about a bunch of different things. So if you're up for that, be there. I'm going to talk to you about how I started burping my dog Macho, because he requires it now, apparently, and I don't have much of a choice. He likes it. He wants to be burped like a baby, so I'll explain that as well on After Dark. And also, my ghetto plumber came by today, and that was awesome. He wasn't rocking his teeth. I'll tell you all about it on After Dark. But let's go ahead and get into what we're here to talk about tonight, as we all anxiously await an arrest, indictments, or whatever it is that we're waiting for. The tours continue. However, Brandon seemed to have poked his head up out of his little turtle hole there for a second. However, he ducked his little turtle head back down. And Brandon is welcome if he wants to talk, to come up here. I won't pay him for it, but if that's what he wants to do, he's welcome to, because, why not? He should be allowed. He should be allowed to defend himself, but it's not necessary. Because I don't really, I mean, it's he can if he wants. It's whatever. And I don't know if any of you caught the last show that we did just the other day. And Sarah's ex-husband called in, which prompted people to go and smear this guy as much as possible, which is just baffling to me. I spoke with him off the air a little bit, explained to him what kind of people that he's dealing with. And, I'm not even sure that I want to really expose him to any more of that. Okay. I think, I really did appreciate, and we'll listen to it again. And I appreciate it that he did come on and talk and give his experience. But I think that he was willing. I think that he is willing. But I'm going to advise him that he said what he has said, and I would advise him not to subject himself to people anymore, because they're just, and people that have no business talking about people's criminal past. By the way, I want to make this very clear. He did admit that he was locked up or that Sarah had him locked up. He denies all allegations and was never convicted of anything. He was charged, not convicted. There's a difference. It's true. And as I was listening to, I was going back and I was listening to an interview. I believe it was one of the first interviews that Brooks on Crime Lines. I'm dyslexic. Crime Lines. Crime Lines. Somebody help me out here. I'm looking. Yeah. Crime Lines. All right, whatever. Crime lines and lies. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Okay, we're there. We got there. We're there. Hold on one second. Sorry. Nick with the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Patty Denise, proud lab rat. We're proud to have you. And she claims that she has two eyes, but her name is, you heard it, One-Eyed Flo. Yes. Cat Hodge Podgery, member for 1 month. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And Rap Trap Gangsta 222, always a great time here. I appreciate you guys. So glad to catch you live. Great work on Michael's case. Well, I appreciate you saying that. And there's a lot of people that have worked really, really hard on this. And I take no credit for any of it other than just talking about it. Let's see here. Gail gifted 1 lab membership. Appreciate you. Dina, anyway, these people will protect self-admitted liars, but impact people not directly connected to the case. It's funny that you say that. That is a common, but you got to understand this. This is a fringe group of people. I don't want to even discuss them. I don't care about them. Their opinions mean nothing to me. They might mean something to somebody else, but not to me. And we're all allowed to have our own opinion. My opinion is it's dumb and irrelevant, but once again, just my opinion. Who am I to judge? Just my opinion that it's dumb and boring. Destiny Rose became a YouTube member. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so one of the things that always happens when somebody comes up, and by the way, I have verified that was Sarah's ex-husband. I have verified 100%. I hate it's pathetic. But here's what this man did an interview on, I believe it was Reverend Donna Serafina, and it wasn't a bad interview at all. I didn't mind the interview at all. And I know that there are people in the chat that don't do mediums and psychics, and let's just respect everybody's beliefs for the sake of that. I personally am a little weirded out by the paranormal. I don't understand it, nor do I want to understand it. So, but do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. But what is very interesting about what transpired there is Donna did ask Stacey about Wolf calling into the show and saying what he said about Sarah. Now, let's recap for the people that haven't heard.
Sir, absolutely.
Can I ask you about Sarah a little bit?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you coming up here, and so does everybody that's watching here.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a little bit about. So you don't know Stacey, but how long were you married to Sarah?
Briefly, it was like 6 months.
Okay, 6 months. And where are you from? Idaho as well?
No, sir. I was married to her when I lived in Texas.
Okay, because there was talk of her going to Texas. Let me see. Let me read this message really quick because I thought that. This is a message that I just received from Wolf, the man that was married to Stacey, or excuse me, Sarah. It's hard with two girl names. Hey, Josh. He must be watching because I got this message. Hey, Josh, my interview was a one-time deal. It was definitely worth it for Michael. And I did come at my own free will. And so I got to tell you that I appreciate you doing that. There are many of us that salute you for what you did, and I wish I could have warned you a little better, but thank you. We really do. I know that everybody here at the lab and a lot of other places appreciated it as well. A lot of people. including the ones that mostly count. I know that for a fact. Well, thank you. This,
Right.
yeah. So, okay. So ultimately 6 months. How long were you guys together before that?
On and off, we knew each other for about 2 years.
Okay. And then you got married and obviously no kids. I'm
No,
assuming
sir.
you
God,
didn't
no.
get your nuts crushed by a bull.
No, no. I
So
actually have a son and a daughter, so my nuts are just fine.
good. I'm glad to hear that. So
Thank you, sir.
now that right there, folks. I mean, if you don't mind, what that's called top quality journalism. I'm not a journalist, but I'm setting the standard. Did you by happenstance also get your nuts crushed by a bull? No. It ultimately led to the divorce.
Well, she had a meltdown about me not being able to give her any children because I wasn't trying to. And basically, she had me incarcerated under false accusations. And so I basically told her, I want you gone.
Now, keep in mind what he's saying here, that she had him put in jail and had falsified reports. Trust me, it happens. I actually had an uncle my uncle and aunt were just always like, this was back in like the late 80s. They were always like beating on each other. And he had went to jail for domestic violence a couple times, and she had also went, and they shouldn't have been together and ultimately ended up not being together anymore. But she called the police one day and said that he was that he had abused her, and then they came and arrested him, and he was like, he goes, you're not going to believe me, but this time I really didn't do it. This time I really didn't do it. They didn't listen. They cuffed him. Later on she admitted it, but sometimes they'll just, I think she smacked herself in the face or something.
I want a divorce, and inevitably that's what happened.
And is that something you guys fought about a lot?
Well, our marriage was only 6 months, but no, sir, it wasn't a lot of fighting.
Yeah. So what she wanted you to give her a kid. Same thing that you heard. And what is it? She just wanted to be a mother. I mean, was that it?
She had a daughter when she was 17 years old. The story she told me, I cannot confirm this to be true. I can only say what she told me. She said Ed and Kay Ramsey made her give her child up for divorce.
And I've also heard that as well, not just from Wolf.
Because they were not going to take care of her and her daughter.
Oh, you mean for adoption?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can't confirm, but what she told you is that at one time she did have a child.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but and you can't confirm that, and so let's just make that clear. But and that she was forced to give up the daughter for adoption. Her parents made her do that?
Yes, sir. Her adoptive parents.
Okay. And do you know how old she was when that allegedly happened?
17.
Okay. Was she very religious?
No, absolutely not.
So that was kind of new. Okay, I got you. That's
yes,
all new.
sir. Very new.
Okay. You think she's capable of what she's been accused of?
It's funny you asked me that because the detective did ask me what I thought about it. And I said, when it comes to kidnapping, yes, she is capable of it. I don't know if she's capable of murder. I can't say that she is.
So, she ever talk about kidnapping? Let me just stop it right here. So when I asked him if she was capable of this, and he was very, I wouldn't say eager to say it, but he was like, well, since you're asking, I did not think when I asked this next question that the answer was going to be yes. I thought he would say no, never anything like that. I was stunned and shocked when I heard this. I did not think the answer was going to be yes. And I'm telling you, if he wanted to have fabricated this, and by the way, He has said all of this. He has said all of this to law enforcement. So if you want to accuse him of lying, you're going to accuse him of falsifying statements to law enforcement. I don't think he's lying. I believe him 100%. But like I said, I was shocked. So typically during an interview, you don't want to say wow as the person that's interviewing. I said wow a few times.
Yes, is capable of it. I don't know if she's capable of murder. I can't say that she is.
She ever talk about kidnapping?
Yes.
With you,
that's
she
one of
did?
the things that that's one of the things that led to me saying "C'est la vie."
So she wanted to kidnap a kid. So I interpreted it as that, but he quickly says, no, that's not what she said, which, by the way, is, you know, and I did kind of jump there. But yes.
No. She just talked about kidnapping in general, never anything about children.
Wow. And what would she say? There's one wow.
Oh, well, she would talk about mainly just, how it would be interesting to have someone to go into some stranger's house and basically take control of them, be able to tie them up. And I told her, I said, you need to seek professional help. That's not normal.
Wow. There's a second wow. I mean, that is very rarely am I left speechless. Very rarely am I digging for anything at all. I didn't know what to say. I was processing the information live. I did not think that was going to turn out the way that it did. Yeah, you're right. That's not normal. And you just must have, I mean, were you just shocked by that?
I was scared by that.
And was this towards the end of your marriage?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that she would cover up an accident? Like say something went wrong when they were kidnapping Michael, and say it wasn't intentional homicide or whatever, say it wasn't that. Could you see her covering that up?
Yes, sir.
She ever abusive towards you? I don't even know why I went there. I feel bad about that. So, because I've heard reports that she would hit Stacey with like pots and pans and things like that.
I've been beaten by that woman before.
Wow. There's your third wow. I hear that if you say 4 wows in one interview, that you get 6 more weeks of winter, but I can't confirm that completely.
And I mean, I don't want to seem agitated or anything, but I'd rather not talk about it. It's just not something I want to relive.
I don't blame you. Not a problem at all. You don't want to answer a question. You don't want to talk about something. That's totally fair. I appreciate you coming up and even talking. So Sarah was talking about kidnapping with you, had talked about kidnapping, and you were just totally thrown off by the whole thing.
Yes,
and you wanted and you initiated the divorce.
Yes, sir, I did.
Was it not that it matters, but was it an annulment or a divorce?
It was a divorce.
And how did she take the news when you wanted to divorce?
A meltdown, of course. As a matter of fact, I was incarcerated at the time that I told her about it, and the deputies had to escort her out of the building because she was causing a disturbance.
In the jail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she has a temper.
Absolutely.
But she never talked about God with you or anything like that?
No, sir. I'm not really what you would call religious. I do believe in God, but I'm just not a Bible thumper.
Mm-hmm, right. And so was it news to you when you found out that she was now?
Yes, it actually was. It was a huge shock.
But were you surprised at all when you... Now, I want to say this too, because one of the things that gets left under the comments, and just like when I played the Don Wells interview, I don't know if it was interrogation or whatever the hell you want to call whatever that was. People accused me. Don't worry, Wolf. People accused me of being the one that masterminded the whole thing and pretended to be. Even Don himself did it. Hey, you pretended to be a detective. You're going to jail. You're in trouble. Your channel's in trouble. You did the wrong thing. Blah 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 blah. And there were people that swore I never, I'm always right about this kind of stuff. Nah. No, you're not. You're not. I saw the man's face. I know who he is. It wasn't Stacey. Trust me. Morons. Seriously. Like, and I don't like being mean, but I like being mean here. Morons. You heard that she was a suspect in this case.
I really was. I wasn't expecting anything like that to spill on my doorstep because, I had just, the time the detective had contacted me, I had just found out that I was going to be a father with my firstborn, my son.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was kind of light the mood. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Okay. So you had just found out that you were going to be a father. Was she ever around any of your children?
No, sir. It's been over 12 years since I've known her.
So even 12 years ago, she had mentioned kidnapping. Was it more than once?
Yes, sir. It was on numerous occasions. That's why I said, I need to get away from this woman.
Good Lord. Yeah. Okay. Wow. There it is. 6 more weeks, 4 wows, 1 interview. You get the point. We're moving on. Thank you, Wolf. I appreciate it. Trust me, most people believe exactly what you said. I believe it. I am not a naive person, which is something a naive person would say. I am not a naive person. I believe you 100%. And there's reasons that I believe you for that. So thank you very much. And we'll move on to the next order of business. Okay, well, that's not no, that's not it. That's not it. Great. Where is, maybe I can just play it from my phone. Maybe that's what I'll do. And we're just going to listen to a few minutes of this. We're all going to tie it in here.
Intel. Nope. I mean,
tell me if you got, can you guys hear? Let me see. I can't, maybe, how do I send it here? I got to airdrop it. It's a pain in the butt. All right, let me just, I'll just airdrop it. Never mind. That way you can see it. Oh, that's perfect. Picking his nose. All right.
Picked up his car. Sarah was, yeah. So it was actually an old employer.
Now, this is from Crime Lines and Lies, the first interview. I think she has a total of 3. They're very interesting. He lies out of his ass constantly. But let's just listen to what he says. With Wolf's, with what Wolf put down. All right. Let's see what we can pick up Stace.
I did work for, but he also became a friend. His name was the company was Labor Dave's, and then his name was David Fears. Um, but I had gone to visit him, I think, to talk to him about some extra work at the time. You're welcome, Chrissy.
And I did notice while watching this that he was extremely well, not I say extremely agitated, but he was very much wanting to see the chat. He wanted to know if people were buying what he was selling. And I watched the show. They weren't. There was a couple, but they weren't. He thought that by doing this, not only could he get a little extra flow, little cash flizzy, as he likes to call it, but he thought, and this is where people, lose me with the, well, he's stupid or he's handicapped or whatever. He thought that he was going to buffalo everybody. He thought he was going to tell his story, that he was going to be the victim, that he was going to somehow distract. And you'll find out, as most of you probably already know, that what they do is tell on each other. They love it. They do it for a living. They don't care. They've been telling on each other since time immemorial.
So I hadn't
He thought he was gonna buffalo stomp us.
I hadn't been in Boise, like I said, it was only for a few hours, but I literally had just stopped to see Dave, and I think it was discussing some extra work that he had wanted me to do for him. He had me do a lot of labor gigs. A lot of it was moving gigs or sitting on a riding lawnmower and mowing a lot of the LDS churches. He had a contract with them. Nothing going on from Boise. I mean, there was Brandon was there, I was there, and Sarah was there.
Labor Dave.
What time?
I don't know. I'd say probably close to 3:30 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like I said, this is years ago. You know what I mean? I don't remember verbatim everything, so I'm sorry if I'm not able to remember specifics, but I try. But I got home and everything was just as it should be, as a normal household should be, peaceful, quiet, not nothing exciting, and then Brandon
We're gonna have
had
to speed this up because he's dragging ass here.
approached Sarah and I because he had been asking for a little while, but he wanted Sarah and I to help him go get his vehicle from Cuna, which was parked at his mom's house. So about when it started getting dark, probably 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around the end of the 5 o'clock hour, we all got ready and got into the Sierra, the red burgundy truck. And I made sure that
whose truck is that, by the way? Because I don't know.
No, that burgundy truck is ours. It was ours. It got repossessed because we were late on the payment on it. So they repossessed it. But that's the only vehicle that we've ever had a repo on. The rest of the vehicles that we've owned or have had, have all been.
Right,
so the burgundy truck is there, and I don't know. He had gone to his house, picked up his car. Sarah was driving the truck. I was in the passenger seat, and Brandon was in the back seat. I preferred Sarah to drive most places just because I don't know. I was a bigger guy, and it was uncomfortable for me to sit behind a wheel all the time, and I had literally driven all. I drove earlier that day, and it was hurting me. So, but
now, what time are we talking about? Don't get confused by the chat, because we'll get to questions in a second.
I can't even see the chat.
Oh, you can't?
No, maybe I have to press chat. No,
it's okay, hon. Don't even worry about it. A lot of people are just saying you look great. You've lost a lot of weight.
Oh, thank you.
They're not saying that you looked bad before.
Oh yeah.
One question, a lot of people have it. Let's start from the beginning of the day, July 27th.
Mm-hmm.
not when you got the taxi call.
Beginning of the day was as the usual. Woke up from obviously sleeping. Woke up, had some coffee. Kind of laid around the house, with Sarah and Brandon, and
I always find it weird when people know a lot of like details leading up to the situation, and then when the situation goes down, kind of not remembering, not knowing, yeah.
That was literally the highlight of the morning. I mean, we watched some TV, I think, or a movie, or I don't remember exactly, but there was nothing unusual that day at all. Out of the ordinary. We just did the same routine that we always did, which was get up, have your coffee, get dressed, get showered for the day. Like I said, I think we may have watched a movie or there was a movie or TV show. I don't remember, but
unconfirmed reports say it's Ernest Goes to Jail.
I know that the TV shows that Sarah and I really were into were The Good Doctor and I really was obsessed with Chicago PD. So just shows like that that we would watch. So I don't remember exactly if it was a movie or TV show, but
The Good Doctor.
So that was literally like throughout the day, and then I got the taxi call probably. I think it was like around 11, and person wanted to go from Ontario to Boise, so I went and picked him up. Probably I left the house about 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon, and took the Lexus that we had to.
Sarah, hurry, come quick! Chicago PD's on. They're arresting gangsters.
Go pick the client up and transported him to Boise. And I hung out in Boise, I think, for a few hours, and then came home. Neighborhood seemed subtle and quiet. There's not a lot going on. Nothing seemed unusual at our house. Nothing was off. And then Brandon asked us if we would help him get his vehicle, so we agreed we would help him because he'd been bugging us. For
Chaotic Innocence. Thank you for becoming a member.
Took the truck and went and picked him up, or picked his car up with us in Cuna, and he drove. He steered his car behind, and Sarah and I were in the truck, and we towed his vehicle all the way back to Fruitland. When we got back, we noticed that there was an exceptional amount of police officers and people just walking around. And I told Sarah to pull over. I was like, let's find out what's going on. And we rolled the window down and we asked them, what's going on, what's happening. And they were like, well, a little boy was abducted. And we're like, what?
Perfect time for a cough. Perfect time for a break. Perfect time to have a cough break and think of what he's going to say next. He claims, or he goes on to claim, that a police officer mentioned this to them. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably. It's hard to speculate there, but
it made no sense because everything was at peace.
What? Everything was at peace. It made no sense. Everything was at peace.
Who did you ask?
I don't remember. It was a police officer.
He doesn't remember, but he remembers The Good Doctor and Chicago PD
that we had talked.
He doesn't remember if it was he says, I don't remember. So the answer is a police officer. Now, if you were stopped by a police, this is why I don't think that he was actually stopped by a cop, but he says a police officer. Oh, there's a police officer. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a police officer. Well, we're not asking for the police officer's name. She's just asking you who stopped you. You said, I don't know. A police officer. You know the police though? You got a name? You're going to shout out an officer? Officer Tuttle. It was Officer Tuttle. Officer Tuttle stopped us.
Who
the frig is Officer Tuttle? I don't know.
I was walking up the road from the main strip, 8th Street, which is, you took 8th Street. 8th Street led you into our subdivision. We lived in a whole different subdivision than Michael Vaughn. Michael Vaughn lived on the opposite side. He lived on 9th Street. We lived off of.
It's like, and I am by no means a linguistic expert or a body language expert. Matter of fact, I read almost all those situations fairly wrong. I meaning, somebody says, well, he like touched his eye. Like, I don't know. But what I do know is that when you ask somebody a question and then they repeat the question, like a question, it's to buy some time because they're probably not going to tell you the truth. Like that whole coughing thing, it seems like it's something I mean, that's something I would do or would to try and buy some time. I'd be like, hold on. What was that? Come again? Rightfully sorry. Pardon me.
It was called Pintail Avenue or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the street that led into our subdivision was. It's been so long, but we stopped and asked, what was going on, and they told us, and we're like, that's really weird. And I was in the process of trying to get Brandon's car dismantled or detached from my truck. And Brandon and Sarah had gone and looked for Michael while I was doing that.
Okay, so Brandon and Sarah went looking for Michael while he was doing that. They went looking for Michael. Okay.
To go help. They're like, no, we'll just go out and do it. And I was like, okay. So they took off on foot. Carson's truck, mind you, I know that was a question a lot of you guys had. Carson's truck was never used that night. Carson has a truck, yes, with a light bar on it, but it was never, Carson would never let his truck out. I tried asking him to borrow his truck a couple times in the past, just to do like when I don't know, it was stupid. I don't remember exactly, but there was just there was times where I'd asked if I could borrow his truck, I think when like one of our vehicles were down or something like that. But he wouldn't even let that happen.
Oh, really? I wonder why.
So I know for a fact that he would not let his truck go out just with anybody. He wouldn't even let it go happen with me. He doesn't even let his best friend take his truck. So they went out and looked for him and came back and said that
it's certainly not a productive cough. I will say that
they found nothing.
Now hang on. Who went out with him and said they found nothing?
Sarah and Brendan went out together.
Were they walking?
They were on foot, correct? From what I understood, yes.
From what he understood. Were they on foot or not? It's not that hard of a question.
I wasn't a witness to them leaving in a vehicle.
You're not a witness. What do you mean? Nobody's asking you if you're a witness. Sound like state's witness. That fits you well. Stacey Wander, state's witness. I could see that happening. State's witness. Yeah.
Because I had the driveway blocked off with the truck in Brandon's car.
Oh my Lord.
So they couldn't really leave the driveway. The truck was taking up the lengthwise of the full size of the driveway because I had the truck and then I also had Brandon's car behind. So I was working on getting that all undone. So they didn't have access to taking a vehicle to go get it, to go look for him. So they went out on foot.
Okay, well, here's a map of the red dot.
Right, the lower
this year.
But we
Well, I'm going to start putting questions up here in a second. I mean,
This is where he wants to see the chat. This is funny.
Until the who Michael Vaughn is. I have Street. I know how. What I'm trying to say is I personally have never been on 9th Street. I know how to get there because I've driven by it, but I have personally never been on 9th Street.
Oh, shit.
Which is where the Vaughn family lived. Nor do I even know who Michael Vaughn is. I had no idea that there was a little boy even named Michael Vaughn until the night in question he went missing.
I can guarantee that a lot of people didn't know that there was a little boy named Michael Vaughn until the night he went missing. Why would you even need to know that? You wouldn't need to know that.
I wish I could see the chats. Is there any way I could see chats?
Well, I'm going to start putting questions up here in a second.
Trust me, dude. You don't want to see the chat.
I mean, everyone is just saying, justice for Michael Vaughn, that, you look great, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, he looks fantastic.
If anyone's in here,
not a day over 55,
attacking our guest, you're going to be timed out. He's here to tell his story. So we have to be respectful. Okay. We have to be. There's no point. I spoke to him this morning. He was very forthcoming with me. He told me a lot of things I had never heard before. All right. Let's start with one question. And if you can answer it, great. If you can't, then no.
Ask.
Okay. Sarah wanted Brandon to give her a baby.
Correct.
So you knew about that.
Yep.
Can you explain how that came down?
So Sarah approached me in the bedroom where we sleep, where our place.
She approached you in the bedroom. Hi, Stacey. We need to talk.
Our master bedroom where we sleep. And Sarah had asked me, she goes, I know that you aren't able to have kids because you're infertile, but
Why are you infertile? Well, because a bull stomped on my nuts.
Brandon's here, and I'm wondering if we can maybe try with him. And at that point, I was like, I wasn't comfortable with it 100%.
You weren't comfortable with somebody sleeping with your wife.
But I was like, you want a kid so bad, then fine. I was like, okay, that's, do what you got to do. She goes, it's only going to be, for a couple days, just, but we have to do it a few times a day. And I'm like, okay. Well, that few times a day, for a couple days.
It's like when a dog's in heat. It sounds like, sounds like a puppy mill. We're gonna have to do it a few times a day. What the freak? It's so insane. My Lord.
Her and Brandon had to do it a few times a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. She always told me that she, you have to do it more than one time a day to be able to become pregnant, which didn't make sense with me. And I was like, I know plenty of people that have one night stands and then getting pregnant.
Something's not adding up here, Stacey.
So I don't even know how that even played a part. But I just went along with it, and I was like, okay, so yeah, you do what you need to do. Well, then 1 week, a couple days turned into a week. And at the end of the week, I asked her, I was like, so what are we doing? Like, why are you still, I haven't, I just want to make sure it's, it's going to happen. And then I told her, I was like, look, it's got to stop. I said, I'm tired of listening to you guys fuck all the time.
Okay. Right.
I just,
of course, just got to go there. I'm tired of you guys trying to mate all the time. I'm tired of you guys, trying to artificially inseminate my wife. It's disgusting. It's weird. It's just, can I get through this?
Let me send him.
No, not in the slightest. Are you there?
Okay, so this is the point we're getting to. That
are you there?
Yeah,
I want you.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened.
Sarah was not loyal to you.
Obviously. No, not in the slightest at all.
Okay.
There was no. Sarah was the most deceitful. I don't know how else to put it. Lying bitch that I've ever been with in my life. She destroyed me as a person.
Okay. Now, this is a quote from Stacey Wandra. Sarah was the most, I don't know how to put it, lying biatch. I did that for effect, just so that for the kids show. For the kids. This is not a kids show. Do not let your kids. Sarah was the most, I don't know how to put it, lying bitch that I've ever been with in my life. She destroyed me as a person. Okay.
She then continuously fucked Brandon even after I got arrested.
Unbelievable.
And she got released on that pretrial release before she was rearrested in November. Because Sarah had tried to contact me through the phone because her fucking mom gave her my number.
So now he's just he's just off the rails with the F word.
Tried to contact me and then
hang in there.
Pretty much tried to apologize for throwing me under the bus. And I'm sorry. I'm like, I didn't mean to. I didn't have that intention. And I was like, yeah, but you fucking did. There's no hesitation. Like, you did what you did. You threw me and you got me arrested for having my gun. Yeah. She snitched on me for selling my gun.
Okay. So point number 2. She snitched on me for having a gun. Sarah gets arrested and then snitches on him. Snitches on him for having a gun. Do you guys see where this is headed here? It sounds like when crap hits the fan, and they get in trouble on some other stuff, guess what? Guess what? They tell on each other. I wonder what led law enforcement to them. Ooh.
That's what it was. That's why I went to fucking jail. She snitched on me for it.
Oh, God.
And then and some of y'all are confused about the time frames that she got arrested when I got arrested. So she was arrested April 13th of 2022, which was the day of our anniversary, because she held our tenant, Tanner Butler, who was also staying with us at the time, at gunpoint, threatened him and told him that he had to fucking leave and all this other shit. And if he wasn't going to leave, she was going to kill him. So Sarah, it turned into a dispute. The cops got called. Sarah ended up getting arrested that night. I didn't. I was still home. But
can you imagine? I wonder, can somebody tell me what led police in? They snitch on each other when they do dumb stuff. They're both snitches. They like to snitch on each other. Snitchers. They love it. They thrive on it. They love to snitch on each other. And I'm guessing she initiated this because she went to jail first. That's just my assumption. But oh my God, she snitched on him for having a gun. She got his ass thrown in jail. Wolf, we're sorry that people doubted you, Wolf. We're sorry that people doubted you. He goes on to say that she held a knife to his neck one day. I'm pretty sure Wolf said something like that too.
But they
Now hold on. So you were still home on what date?
No, this wasn't the day of his experience. This is the day of our anniversary, April 13th of 2022. This is when Sarah got arrested for the failure to report, or she got charged with assault and battery, attempted concealment attempted destruction of evidence, and
attempted concealment of what? You were gonna say I know what you were gonna say. Attempted concealment of a what?
possession of a controlled substance. She had hydrocodones in her purse that were in a bag. She put them in a bag because the bottle had gotten moisture inside of it and the pills were getting wet. So she took them out and put them in a napkin, put them in a Ziploc baggie to dry them out.
Well, that's good. Good thing that you did that.
Which it was beyond my knowledge. I don't even know why she would do that. And it was a hitter with like a class C narcotic or something like that.
Now, what's coming up here is he talks about Adrian and his ideas for scam.
But because it was a prescription, but she didn't have them in the bottle they were supposed to be. So she got charged with like 3 charges that night. So
yes, you cannot have a controlled substance in any other container other than what it was prescribed in with the person that it was prescribed to. So it doesn't actually work if you have somebody else's prescription with you in their prescription bottle still, and definitely not a plastic bag to dry them out.
And she went to jail at Fayette County. Sorry, let's turn the heater on. It's cold. And then I did not get arrested until about a month later. So it was less than a month. It was probably 16 days later. They came and hit me. I got pulled over because I got a phone call that morning. I didn't get pulled over. Sorry. I got a phone call that morning from Fruitland Police Department saying, hey, you can, your phones are able to be picked up because they had confiscated all of our phones. So they were like, your phones are good to be picked up. You can come and get them. When can you pick them up? I was like, well, I'm in town all day. I'll pick them up at 9:00 tonight, which was May 6th of 2022, 2020, April, May, yeah, 2022.
I see you. What's up?
So I went down to the police station in Fruitland, called dispatch because it was 9:00 at night, called dispatch, told them that I was there to pick up my phones. Law enforcement met me outside, and then I had my dog with me at the time. Oakley, the one that you guys have pictures.
I don't know the name of the DA from Fruitland, but I'm just wondering, what's up? What's up? Doing all right there? Big plans this weekend?
Pictures of. I then got out of, or was told to get out of the car and asked to show my ID for verification. It was like a setup, and they arrested me saying for felon in possession of a firearm. So Sarah had narked on me for having a gun before she got arrested.
I wonder what else Sarah would narc on him for.
And then they ran my name in the system, found out that I was a previous felon. And then
Nice. Double felon. Double felon. Who would think that this guy would be dishonest?
they're like, you aren't supposed to have a gun. Well, I didn't even have the gun in the presence of the cops. Sarah told them that I went and sold a gun to a gunsmith in New Plymouth, which I did because we needed the money.
Oh, okay. So she was being honest about what she snitched on you about. Interesting.
So I sold the gun to the gunsmith for $475, and came back home. That was April 12th that I sold it, 2022.
Now the sympathizers out there are going to say he's handicapped, he's slow, he's this, he's that. He may be handicapped, he may be slow, he may be dumb. I'm sure he's dumb. I'm positive of it. But he's not, trust me, he's not to that level. Not even close. What he wants to do is he's going to say, oh, this was all a false confession because I have fetal alcohol syndrome. That's just not going to fly. It's just not going to fly, dude. Trust me. It's not going to fly. You think it will, because that's really the only hope that you got, but it's not going to fly.
So the next day, Sarah gets arrested, tells on me for selling the gun to the gunsmith. The same day she assaulted Tanner, and she gets arrested. I get arrested on May 6th, which was a Friday, at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's when my journey began in jail.
Right. Well, and that's when my journey began. He's not so disabled that he doesn't know right from wrong. That is all you need to know is what you did or what you're doing. Do you know the difference between right and wrong? Now, he has contradictory statements here saying that when he gives law enforcement the direction that Michael was in the yard, first he says that his lawyer wasn't there, then his lawyer was there. I'm guessing that his lawyer was there because Sarah was trying to rat on him. She was trying to rat on him. Snitch him out again because she got herself in some trouble by going all Tupac Shakur on some dude in the house, saying, get out, thug life, or I'm going to hit you with this toaster.
Well, some people say that Tanner is the one that snitched on you, not Sarah.
No, Sarah snitched on me. Tanner confirmed it.
Okay, so they both snitched on you.
So Tanner was like her, what do you word it? Like her backup,
corroborating witness,
information person, I guess. I don't know what the word is.
Information person. Maybe he is stupid,
but he confirmed everything that Sarah said. And so, yeah, so it was Sarah that started the snitching. They're throwing me under the bus, and then Tanner, they asked Tanner about it, and Tanner confirmed it.
It's not really throwing you under the bus if they're telling the truth.
Well, this is going to be a hard question, and if you can't answer it, I understand.
Okay.
Was Tanner and Sarah also together?
No. Not that I know of. There was never any sexual discussion. Of course, Sarah wasn't always up in front and honest with me about anything, but I don't see Sarah. I didn't see Sarah as that, as Tanner being of interest to her. Okay. He just wasn't I don't know, like as a guy, I'm not trying to sound weird. I'm not gay.
All right. Well, thank you for clearing that up. Not trying to sound weird, but I wasn't attracted to him. So, but I'm not gay. It's all right, dude.
I know Sarah's preference, and doesn't sound like he would fit that.
I don't really want to go into it, but if Brandon's her preference and you're her preference,
period. Then again, before Sarah got married to me, all she dated was black people. So.
Hey, Wolf, are you black?
I have really no room to really say much.
Now, what about the
I have no room to say much.
Rumors about threesomes between you, Brandon?
Before I got with her, all she dated was black people.
And her.
Never had a threesome a day in my life.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
It was called the love triangle, if that's what you're referring to. But that was not a threesome triangle. I've never had a threesome a day in my life. That's I'm not even okay with doing something like that.
No?
I have more. I have more. I don't know what the word is. Self. Help me out. What's the word? Like I have more respect for myself than that.
It's self-respect.
Self-respect.
Yeah. I'm not that person. I find it very rude and disrespectful and degrading to a woman
Yeah. Do you?
to even ask a question like that.
Stupid.
Well, I apologize for bringing that up. We do
No,
have
God, how could you even why would anybody defend this? It's like the most ridiculous thing.
no, I mean, don't be like you. I'm here to answer questions and answer the questions that people have.
all right. Well, on July 27th,
I'm getting confirmation that Wolf is not black, nor is Brandon. Adrian, however,
2021,
Mhm.
did you, Brandon, or Sarah drive on 9th Street?
No, I know personally I didn't.
okay, but he answered for everybody. The threesome, he answered for.
Cannot speak for Brandon or Sarah. So I don't know. I can't speak for them. Like I said, I will not lie about somebody. Like I told you this morning, I will not lie or speak on somebody's
Yeah, it's called a thruple. Like it's instead of a couple, it's a thruple.
behalf. If
In this case, it would be a crudgel. Crudgel? I don't know how many people lived in that house.
I don't know the truth to it.
Did you ever stop on 8th in Arizona that night?
Correct. On the way out of the subdivision, we did. We were in the truck. The truck. I always had to put power steering in the truck because the power steering pump was going out. It had a the it's called the high pressure gasket ring that connects the power steering hose to the core. Was bad. I didn't fix that until after like a month later. I ended up getting it fixed. But it's called a high pressure seal. There we go. High pressure seal. For the power steering, and so the power steering had a huge was spraying all over. Every probably I don't know, probably every 4, 5, 6 hours, we had to stop and refill power steering fluid because there was a huge whining noise going on, and it was causing from the power steering.
It was actually Brandon crying.
Okay,
We did stop on Arizona,
so you did stop on 8th in Arizona. What vehicle were you in?
the truck.
Carson's truck or
No, the burgundy truck. Well, my truck, the GMC
I'm
Sierra.
Okay,
Oh,
no, okay, you're fine. You're not doing anything
God
wrong.
bless
I mean,
me.
you're being transparent. You're clearing everything up.
oh, that made it through, didn't it?
All I'm here.
God dang it. That made it through. I had hit the dump button and I was a button off. I'm really sorry about that. Had myself a little sneezers. Unreal.
Here to do. Want people to know, like I'm not what it seems
I need 2 mute buttons like Justin.
to be. You know, that's why I'm doing this because I want people to be like, okay, like he's really being serious.
God
You know?
dang it.
Oh, we know. Trust me, we know you're serious. Okay, now I want to ask you something. Again, if there's something that you don't feel comfortable answering, then don't.
Okay.
I know several people have talked to Adrian, and he said that he was in a sexual relationship with Sarah.
I didn't find out until Adrian and like there's like sexual relation. I was approached by the detective. I can't remember her name, but she was the female detective with the long black hair. She had informed me that you're welcome, Pat. She had informed me that Sarah and Adrian had been having a sexual relationship, and that was approached to me when I was in jail. So
Yes, thank you, Stacey.
I didn't know anything about that. I thought it was 100% just a friendship.
ICU wants to point out that Idaho does not have an insanity plea, and it certainly wouldn't have one for Stacey.
I didn't. But then again, like I said, Sarah has been very, very dishonest and deceitful and very ignorant.
My God.
You know, that must have felt horrible when, you found out the truth about people you trusted.
It was devastating. It wasn't fair. Here I am trying to be loyal and faithful to Sarah, the best way I can. We've had our arguments or disagreements or our troubles. I mean, who doesn't in a marriage? I mean, you're bound. I mean, if you don't have troubles or arguments in a marriage, then there's something wrong. I don't. Not one perfect. There's not one perfect marriage. Without that has absolutely nothing but just solitude and solidity and
Solitude and solidity. When I think of a good marriage, I think of solitude and solidity.
It's just made 100% of happiness. You're going to have your downfalls. It's just a part of life. And Sarah and I had a lot of those, but never once. I mean, there was never a time that I felt the need to lie to her or um, hide shit from her. I was open about everything with her.
Yeah, especially the gun.
Did you want to have a child, or was it more Sarah?
It was Sarah. I was in agreement because of her wanting a child. But I even told Sarah, I was like, look, we're not in a financial situation to have a kid right now. I said, no, so she's like, I've only got a certain time frame left before I can't have kids anymore. I said, I get that.
But I had my nuts crushed by a bull in a bull riding accident.
And she basically pretty much coerced me, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have a kid. And it was like, oh, fine, like,
I saw somebody in the chat just say, what does his weight have to do with sticking to the facts or anything? I don't know. What does my weight have to do with anything? People call me fat all the time. Get over it.
So that's what I have on that. I don't really know. I just know Sarah was very deceitful, very dishonest, very disloyal, untrusting, violent. Sarah was very aggressive towards me, like I was telling you this morning, Brooks. Sarah was very aggressive and abusive towards me. She held me down on the couch when I was laying down on my stomach. She held me down on the couch with a butcher knife to my throat.
Okay, so she held me down with a butcher knife to my throat. Let me see here. Later,
be in control of the situation. For a child, it was just she. Like I said, she's
what you dealt with as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and a temper when
sat on her butt. She met my mother. My father is passed. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that. What did your mother think of her?
She
in that situation, because it just sounds horrible. But so she didn't like. Did she like your mother?
She pretended to, but then after she was not around my mother, she would disrespect her, which also.
What's up, PG? I did. I don't know if you saw, but I'm loving kind of peas in the show.
The only one that I'm aware of is once I was incarcerated. So we were still legally married.
That doesn't Wolf say? I can't remember, but doesn't Wolf say that she did that to him too?
There was a guy at the gas station up the road from where we live that told me that they were in having intercourse with each other while I was incarcerated.
And you believed that to be true?
I can't say that it is or isn't. It's just mighty funny how, Stacey says he was messed around on. I was told that I was messed around on, so I'm just putting two and two together.
Right. This must be a trip for you, man.
It is.
Yeah. It's really weird, you never you get a phone call one day from detective, I mean, honestly, the kidnapping thing is just crazy for her to even bring that up. And that's what you said 12 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that she has? I mean, I'm sort of aware that she has a mental illness. Did you ever recognize if she did or not?
I did. Like I said, the meltdowns were not normal. I mean, people get upset all the time. You have your ups and downs, but I mean, when it's an extreme, that's a time to sit down and talk with someone and see about getting some professional help.
Yeah.
Bipolar. That's all I remember.
I can't even remember. Did she take medicine or anything? So she claims to be bipolar, and I don't know what her medical record is or not, and she very well could be. Probably. I mean, it sounds like I don't even know if it's on this clip, but let's just say, because I do believe that he did say that she held a knife to his throat as well, and also to Stacey's. Oh man, how dare him? How dare you lie to us, Wolf? Wolf is so bad. He's so violent. How could you take his side over Sarah's? It's like, dude, 9 out of 10 people think that those people are dumb. And 9 of those people that think you're dumb are dumb too, including me. But like dumb. You know what I'm saying? Sarah pulled a knife on me. Wasn't on my throat. And okay. So she did. She definitely did pull a knife on him. Shocker. All right. So moving on to the third. And this is the Reverend Don. Don't nobody be mean. I know some people like mediums, some don't. Psychics. I don't know. I just want to hear this really fast.
Nonstop, on all these other channels.
Yeah, he sucks.
So I guess I should introduce you, and then I don't know if you have things to talk about that aren't like on every other channel already.
No.
Like the bull.
So they've gutted you. They've gutted you inside and out.
They have. Yeah.
They've covered everything, huh? I know, that's what I was thinking, if there was any point if they hadn't covered everything already.
Oh no, there's a
No.
point.
No, it's all out there.
It's all out there. So well, one thing, then can I ask you a couple things that I'm curious about?
Mhm.
Okay, so one thing is I was clicking through the channels this morning, and it said that Sarah, is that she your still wife? She's your wife?
Yeah, I have divorce papers filed, but for now, yeah.
That's
But she
nice.
doesn't want to sign them.
No, it's not that. I just have to get her served. She's in prison, so.
Can you serve people in prison?
Yes.
Yeah. So you just got to get the money and do that or whatever.
Mhm.
And then, her ex-boyfriend, I don't know what I was
Ricky,
gonna say.
yeah,
Yeah.
husband.
So he
Mhm.
called in that show and he was saying that
Mhm.
she used to abuse him and hit him with pots and pans and stuff.
Oh, Sarah. No, it was the complete opposite. He did that to Sarah.
Mm.
Oh, so she's nonviolent.
Mhm.
So you think he's
At
lying?
least that's what she told me. So I don't know.
What?
Oh, she
I
said,
don't really.
she said he was beating her, abusing her,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
then
which is why she got out of where she was at with him.
It's always the other person.
and then he says that she sent him to prison.
Mm. Jail, not prison.
Oh, just jail. Was that for domestic violence?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's saying it was her beating him. And then what else did he say? Oh, he said that she used to say that she wanted to kidnap someone and take control of them and stuff. And do you think he's making all that up, or do you think
Yeah.
she has a quirky side like that?
No.
I say this before, and nothing against Reverend Donna here, but I mean, you ask a question and then you give the guy his answer. Of course, he's going to follow. Let him answer it. Let his 66 IQ unravel that bad boy.
I'm 90% positive, 99% positive that he's making all that up.
99% positive. You're 99% positive. I think when people give percentages like that, they have no idea how, it's like my grandma, when she goes to the doctor, they ask her, they say, what's your level of pain? And if she's in moderate pain, like to say she got a headache or something, she says 10 or 9 almost every time. And I said, it can't be a 10 or 9. 9 and 10 is like unbearable. Like it might be unbearable to you. Like it sucks and it hurts, but don't hit him with that. Don't hit him with the 10. And I know they're like, what is it? It's probably more like a 5, a 4, but no, 10. She does it. It's never going to change, and that's okay.
Yeah.
To make her look bad because trying to get retaliation or revenge or something.
Yeah. So another thing I was wondering is, okay, like you're in the middle of this neighborhood and, I know a lot of people think you're guilty and stuff, but if you weren't guilty, just assume it's a blank slate either way, right?
Mhm.
How does it feel to have every single person insisting you're guilty of something? Like, how does it feel emotionally?
Frustrating. It's not fair. Everybody deserves to be innocent until proven guilty, and they're taking it the complete opposite.
What? Right? Because you said that that Michael was buried in your backyard.
It's bullshit. Is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's cruel. It's unusual. It's not even.
It is not cruel and unusual punishment for people to accuse you. And I don't think it's out of bounds for people to accuse you based on the fact of what you have said publicly and privately that is now public. It's not cruel, nor is it unusual. Matter of fact, it's actually tame and usual. I like that. Tame and usual.
There's no need for it.
And do you think that's mostly YouTubers or all just even in Fruitland, just the general public?
I don't know. I'm not in Fruitland, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, well, okay. On probation, do you have to stay in the same county or like?
Mhm.
No.
I'm on federal probation.
Oh, so are you in Idaho?
Mm-hmm.
but you have to stay in Idaho, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not going to ask any more than that, just for your safety. But so you think the general public, like if you go into a store and someone recognizes you, they just assume you're guilty?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
the way it's been lately.
that must be pretty weird.
It's hard.
Yeah, you know what's weird is telling the police that a child is buried in your backyard and then saying it was a fable. A fable.
Yeah, emotionally, I would imagine it'd be really hard.
Mhm.
Because I know it's enough of adjustment when you get out of prison to try to get a job and just adjust to people going back and forth, busy,
Mhm.
busy, busy all around you, right?
Yeah.
After you get out there, that it takes a while. I know that.
Mhm.
And so they have you stay in a halfway house. Is that where you're at?
No, I'm in a hotel right now.
Oh, in a hotel. You got to pay for
Nice.
it yourself, or do they pay for it?
Mhm.
You got to pay for it yourself.
Mhm.
Right. Well, I am kind of curious where, look, his financials aren't my business. However, he did ask me for money, and that went about as well as expected.
Yep.
And then I heard true crime with Eve,
Mhm.
and
I'd
one time.
Just
So it looks
fast
like she's been
forward.
covering the case. Is it only did
It's all I like speculation.
It's all
There's
fable.
no until I am charged in law enforcement, by the prosecuting attorney, everything is all speculation by people. It's never been, I haven't been charged, and there's a reason I haven't been charged. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they've been trying for 2 years to charge me, and Sarah and Brandon and Adrian, but is you would think that is
Mr. District Attorney, I hope that you're listening to this. He's mocking you. He's mocking you. He's daring you. Do it. You've been trying. You've been trying. Well, first of all, they haven't been trying, but he's mocking you.
as much as they talk about trying to find somebody to charge, if they had concrete evidence, don't you think they would have already charged me? I mean, it's already been what, 3 years?
Yeah.
July will be 3 years. You know what I mean? Like they've been saying for years, though. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
going to charge somebody, but there's not. It's just they cannot charge. We can't charge something you don't have evidence for.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
And that's what's frustrating. Is like I'm being treated as this evil monster, this evil person, and people don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
They don't know
Yeah.
my heart. They don't know my the way I am with people.
It definitely sounds like Don. However, the difference between this case and Don Wells and Candace and Summers case particularly, is there's a lot more public information here. And so, I mean, he's even more there's just much more known in this case.
People like at all, and it's hurtful. Like it's very sad, to be honest. Like
I would think it would be very alienating. It'd be like you're all alone in the world or something.
I feel like I'm all alone 100%.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anybody in Idaho. Nobody.
Yeah.
I get me for myself right now.
And then everybody acts weird to you everywhere you go and stuff. No, it'd be weird. It was like that during COVID when everyone was all alone. And I mean, it's the same kind of idea where you're just isolated and everyone's acting freaked out or something like that.
Yep.
That's funny. Trina says, let me see here. Hold on. Golly. Let's see here. He certainly is. Yeah, Stacey, Trina says she's right. He came here to clear his name. That didn't happen. It actually made everything worse for him. I'm sure he got a little money out of it, and who knows where he's going to pop up next. But I can guarantee you his asking price isn't going to cover. Like I think he wants $100 an hour, which is insane because he's not a welder or, anything like that. So, but, let's not forget that this man is a prime suspect in the case of a missing child that law enforcement believes is not alive. They dug up a backyard based on evidence and substantial evidence. And that's blood money. It really is to somebody who has been named an official suspect.
Yeah. So did the police actually name you as an actual suspect?
They did, but I don't know on what grounds at all.
Oh, oops.
But I was wondering, like, what are they? What do they lay out as? And is it solely okay? So say if my people watching this don't know, they don't watch those other channels, and they just happen to watch mine, and So Michael went missing, and is the only actual evidence they have is a circumstantial? Do they have a photo of you at 8th in Arizona pulled
Yeah,
over?
they do. They have time stamped. Correct. They have a whole video of that. I watched
Ooh.
it with the detectives. It is
Nice.
solely me out of the truck. Sarah's in the driver's side. Brandon's in the back seat. I'm outside the truck with the hood up, putting power steering fluid in the truck, exactly like I told everybody else.
And in that whole movie, the police showed you that movie, and Michael's not in that movie.
There's no Michael anywhere.
Oh, that's interesting. And then where does it show you drive back out to that main 8th Street and leave? That's interesting too. Okay, so they haven't sat there. They must have sat there when they're interrogating you and told you, "Here's your evidence, like what we think we have." They always kind of put that on the table. So what is it that makes you a suspect to them?
They haven't given that. Like they literally, all they showed me was a timestamp of me pulling off at the splash park that day at 1:30 p.m. And it was exactly as I described, me getting out of the vehicle, walking around, grabbing my can of chew, going back to the driver's side and leaving. I was there for maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And that was in the Lexus. And then that night before we left, there was a timestamp that they showed us of us taking the truck. Exactly as I said. That's all I've seen.
And did you go past the splash pad?
The second time?
Yeah, after you put the stuff in, is the way out.
Yeah,
you have to go past.
I have to pass the splash pad to get to the main highway.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and then do they have Michael on video anywhere near you ever? And they don't have any physical evidence, right?
Nope.
So it's just that you happen to be in this.
I mean, Donna, do you really think that, no offense, Donna, but do you really think that he's going to tell you if there is any physical evidence? I mean, the physical evidence is the backyard. Circumstantial evidence is equal to physical evidence under the law. And sometimes circumstantial evidence is even better than eyewitness or physical evidence. DNA can be disputed. But when you start putting a puzzle piece together and you can't explain these things away, like, oh, we just happen to not be around while everybody's looking for Michael, or we had to go 50 minutes away to Brandon's house so he could do laundry at a house he's not even welcome at because his mommy doesn't like him because he's a scumbag. And then he was like, we have to miss the Ring doorbell cam, and we stopped. I'm at the splash pad. We stopped at 8th in Arizona. I'm on TV. The circumstantial evidence is overwhelming. And I'm guessing that these two have given stories to the cops because this dude, Stacey, was trying to cut a deal while he was in jail because it sounds like Sarah ratted him out for the second time in his life. Circumstantial evidence is just as good as physical evidence and direct witness testimony under the law, and sometimes it's even better. Ask any prosecuting attorney there is. They love circumstantial evidence. Physical evidence may be nice, but it can also be disputed. Circumstantial evidence paints a beautiful picture.
Same area?
Like this whole Innocence Project with Scott Peterson. Oh, Scott Peterson has to be innocent. Really? He went fishing the day that his wife went missing. 4 months later, she floats up in the same body of water that he was fishing at, where nobody else knew where he was. And he's making anchors in his little rented garage, heading to Mexico, dyed hair. Come on, let's go.
As he lived.
But you live in there. But how many blocks away do you live?
About a half mile away from him.
And then the way out to the freeway is you would all go out from that neighborhood that direction.
Correct.
Actually, I'm trying to figure out. Did they ever label you guys as suspects prior to Sarah having her episode on the driveway? Is that what brought them to you guys, or what brought them to you guys?
I don't know. Like, again, I was in jail when they started interrogating me, which made no sense. Like they started questioning me when I was being interrogated, or when I was in jail. So there was nothing that it didn't make sense at all. And I told the detectives the same thing. I was like, look, I've never even heard of this family or this Michael Vaughn person. Like, never even seen him, never even heard about him. They didn't know his existence.
This Michael Vaughn person, he's a child. This Michael Vaughn child that everybody's looking for. I mean, you could have a little bit, just a little hint of respect. Like you give a crap
until the night he disappeared. You know, it just made no sense to me, at least.
It was a
It seemed to make
fable.
no sense to Sarah or Brandon, but you know, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on their behalf. You know,
Yeah. So is what's Sarah in prison for now?
ag assault and attempted concealment or destruction of evidence.
And that part's related to Michael?
No,
Oh, just
no part related to Michael. That's strictly for the ag assault charge.
who did she assault?
One of the tenants that was staying with us, Tanner Butler.
Oh, okay. That's who that Brandon guy was talking about before. She
Yeah.
hit him with a dog bone or something?
Yeah, and held him at gunpoint with a pistol.
Oh, she held him at gunpoint.
I mean, that's yeah, she's not violent.
Oh, why'd you do that?
And hit him with the dog bone.
Well, you know, Wolf, man, Wolf.
Because he
What is he, a baseball player? I mean, seriously, who chews tobacco? I mean, I know that there are like construction workers, like that makes sense to me, but like he's sitting in a hotel chewing tobacco. It's just weird.
he was trying to overtake kind of control of cooking in the house, and Sarah wasn't okay.
If you haven't liked this live and you do like it, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay with that, and neither was I. And specifically on our anniversary is the day that Sarah got arrested in 2022, and
on your anniversary?
Happy anniversary, babe.
April 13th.
April 13th is
That's her arrest date. Yeah.
oh,
And
for
then,
the ag assault? For the ag
yeah.
assault? So she got arrested and they took her away? Did she say anything to them? Did they question her about Michael Vahan at that time? So you guys weren't on their radar at that point?
Correct.
So when did they become on the radar? It's weird. Maybe it was around the time that she got arrested. Oh boy, that sounds like whenever crap hits the fan for her, Stacey gets thrown under the proverbial bus.
And then did they let her out on bail or something?
I let her out on pre-trial release. And she was out for like 3 months and then got rearrested in November.
So okay, so I'll put November. So when she got out, was she like in a psychotic state or something? Like day to day, she was saying things that were really out there.
From what I've been told, yeah, by Karsten.
Oh, you weren't staying at the house anymore?
No, I was in jail. I just got out in November.
Oh, okay.
I was in jail for 18 months straight.
Okay, so when did you get arrested?
May 6th, 2022.
May 6th,
And why did you end up there? How come? Police would have never known about that gun unless Sarah Wandra, who you say, let me just make sure. Sarah was the most, I don't know how to put it, lying bitch that I've ever been with in my life. She has destroyed me as a person. She snitched on me for having a gun. She dated black guys. That has nothing to do with it. Sarah has been dishonest, deceitful, and ignorant. I just know Sarah is deceitful, very disloyal, and violent. She held me down with a butcher knife. Huh. Interesting. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good night. And he's smart enough to have to grifted his way through life. That's a great point. That is a great point. Amy in Boston becomes a YouTube member as well. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it so much. Thanks a lot. You guys are great.